Welcome to the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast with intuitive lightworker, national speaker, metaphysical teacher, and best-selling author Lisa Kessler. What is it you want to manifest? Are you looking to increase your income, change careers? Maybe you want to manifest a new home or a new car. Are you ready to bring love into your life? You have come to the right place.
Hi everyone, I wanted to share my appearance on the Psychic Tapestry podcast with Ken Kessler and Tony DeMeo from earlier this week. I talked about my tarot and everything that I put into the Practical Tarot Kickstarter, and you have until Monday, Halloween night, to be a part of it and help make it a reality. Anyway, here's my segment from this week's Psychic Tapestry podcast.
Lisa is a paranormal romance author. Some of you may know her from that. She has over 40 novels out. She is also a tarot and oracle card reader, a metaphysical light worker. Gosh, I know that there was like a whole string of superlatives for you, and it all just went out of my head.
I think that's
She's
fine.
amazing.
Is that enough?
She's amazing.
Because I
so.
had it
And
written
she's an
down here
accomplished
somewhere.
singer. She's a singer.
Yeah,
All kinds of things. Yeah,
I've had
She
many
is.
lives.
she has.
Oh, here we go. Intuitive light worker, national speaker, metaphysical teacher, and best-selling author. How's that?
Okay, now I'm just blushing.
Okay. All right. Well, she's all that and a bag of chips, as they used to say. And I asked her to come on tonight because she's doing something really cool. She has taught for years, she's taught tarot classes that she refers to as Practical Tarot, a way to intuitively read cards without having to memorize the book. And she's developed this into her own online class, and she is also creating her own deck and a book that goes with it that can help you intuitively learn how to read tarot cards. And the cool thing, the extra cool thing, as if that wasn't cool enough, is that she's launched this on Kickstarter, and there is still time that you can get involved. You can check it out and see if this is something that you would like to help make happen, and you can be a part of it. And I think it's so cool that people get to do that kind of thing. So I wanted Lisa to come on so we could pepper her with a whole bunch of questions about this. So let's start with something really simple for people who don't know. What is Kickstarter?
So Kickstarter is this platform where people can put up their creative projects that they want to do, and people can become a backer of it, which is basically like you're investing in this project. And you get things for it. There's different levels. They call them tiers, reward tiers. And so when you back a project for, a certain amount of money, then you get the thing that they're putting out. There are so many projects on Kickstarter. It's not just tarot cards. It's books, movies, YouTube channels, podcasts, anything creative that somebody wants to make, but they don't have the capital to do it themselves. They can put up the project on Kickstarter and you can back it. So I've backed projects before, like now it's in Target and everywhere, but there was a card game called Exploding Kittens, and they started on Kickstarter. And so I backed the Kickstarter, and I have the original first edition of Exploding Kittens card game, and it's so cute. But anyway, now it's in all the stores because I think Parker Brothers bought the rights to it after the Kickstarter and that kind of thing. And then there are tarot decks, like the Light Seers Tarot is a gorgeous tarot deck that people have from Hay House, but lots of people don't know that Chris Ann actually did it on Kickstarter. She did it herself first on Kickstarter. So the first editions of that deck are from her Kickstarter, and then Hay House said, hey, we would like to buy rights to that and put it out. And so that's how that one came to be. And I think her Muse Tarot also was a Kickstarter first, and then Hay House came and came along and bought it. So it's a really neat way for you to back something that you believe in, and you get really cool perks and things that you would never get, from buying it in the store. It might be a signed thing. It might be an extra class. It might be your name in the acknowledgments. Sometimes people have in there that you get to name characters if it's a fiction book or whatever. But anyway, there's lots of really cool ways that you can get involved, and then you get updates along the way of how the project's coming. So even when it's done on Kickstarter, you'll get updates. We just unboxed the first, and you get to see pictures. So it feels like you're part of this baby company. So that's what Kickstarter is all about. And it's a really great way for new projects to get legs when the creator doesn't have the money to do it themselves.
Wonderful.
Tony, have you heard of Kickstarter before?
I think I have. Well, I've heard of other things similar to this, or this is the one I've heard of, but I have heard of it, yes. I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
I was just curious because Lisa and I have been talking about this so much, certainly over the past month, that it's one of those things that seems obvious, but I'm not sure if everybody is familiar with it. That's why I wanted her to sort of explain that. I probably should have asked you first, not to put you on the spot or anything, but I probably should have asked you first before Lisa went through all that.
Kickstarter kind of went viral. It kind of went viral this summer because Brandon Sanderson put up his fantasy novels that he wrote during the pandemic. And I believe it was like a trilogy or something, but he ended up raising over $2 million, and he hit the first million in the first 24 hours. And so it kind of went viral all over the internet that, that this kind of funding can happen on Kickstarter. So anyway, it's a really great way to get involved.
Yeah, that's an amazing amount of money to have raised.
Right?
Wow.
It's really a neat way for people to get involved with projects that are in their wheelhouse, that they like, or that they might like if they found out about them, whether it's a new novel or a new tarot deck. And I don't want to just lump this in as just another new tarot deck, because it's more than just a tarot deck. So even though I know the answer to this, lots of people listening don't, so I'm going to pretend that I don't. So Lisa, could you explain what Practical Tarot is?
Yeah. So I've always called it Practical Tarot because I remember when I first started getting into tarot cards, I loved them, but I could not remember 78 cards. There was no way I would never be able to do this, and I would get overwhelmed. And then I was just collecting decks because they were pretty. And then I really finally connected with a deck. And when that happened, I already owned so many decks that I started to notice different cycles and symbols and things, and I would pull out the other decks and I would go, hey, same. And anyway, it was kind of like a math problem in my head where it all started to come together, and I'm a writer thinking of the hero's journey and all these cycles and how, they mirror each other for the 4 different aspects of your life. And next thing I knew, I could read any tarot deck, and I didn't need to memorize the book. And so I started teaching practical tarot classes, and I called it that because I think once you get confident that you can read tarot cards intuitively, you can use them for anything, for practical, just everyday things around your house. You can go, I don't know what I want to make for dinner, and you can shuffle and have the intention of what am I going to make for dinner. And here, I've got my cards right here, and I flipped it over, and it is the Ace of Swords, which is a brand new idea. So to me, I would go, I'm going to make something I have never made before, and I pull out a cookbook and try something totally new that I've never done before. And that was all from pulling a tarot card. So you can use tarot cards for practical everyday things. And so the book that I'm writing that goes with the tarot deck will still have the little guidebook that tells you the meaning of every card. But the Practical Tarot book first will teach you how to read tarot cards intuitively. But then the last part of the book is all kinds of ways that you can use tarot every single day. It doesn't have to be something that you only pull out when there's a big crossroads in your life or it's the new moon like tonight. Happy new moon. But it doesn't have to be a special occasion thing. You can use tarot cards for meditation. You can use tarot cards for what am I going to make for dinner. You can use tarot cards for deciding what should I focus on just for today, and you do it when you brush your teeth. There's so many ways that you can just use them every day when you don't have that this means that. Obviously, when I did that Ace of Swords, the book is not going to tell you this means you need to cook something new. But I know intuitively that the Ace is a brand new cycle and Swords is air, so it's your thoughts, so it's a brand new thought. And so the first thing that popped in my head was I'm going to make a brand new recipe that I've never made before. And that's completely valid, and that's what tarot cards are for, so that you can get out of your own way and find out, what the universe wants you to know. And so anyway, that's what the book is about. And I did put the foreword of the book is actually on that Kickstarter page. So you can read the little beginning, which really tells you why I want to make the book real. So it's all there.
That's like a free sample.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Tony, you and I have worked together for
long time. Almost
for a
I
while
think
now, 7 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
and
longer.
I know that you have used oracle cards for a long time, and you, if I remember, you recently started to get into tarot.
I've been looking at it. Yes, I'm more drawn to it now, and I've been looking at it. So I'm very interested in Lisa's deck. I'm an investor, actually. I'm now officially an investor.
Well, there we go.
Yes, there you go. And I'll be very interested in it because it looks so intriguing and the artwork is incredible.
The artwork is so amazing.
Yes.
Yes. And it all came together. It was so I felt very led by the universe because I did not know Holly, who's the artist who's making these cards for me, but I had heard that Kickstarter was doing a promotion for October for divination pools, and I thought, this might be the time to do this. And I reached out to my cover designer who does my book, and she loves tarot, but she said, this is so far out of my wheelhouse. She said, but I know this amazing illustrator. I'll introduce you. And Holly and I just clicked right away. She does watercolors just like my mom used to, and we clicked. Cool. We clicked on so many levels, and she doesn't know anything about tarot, but she is so good at intuitively getting me. I tell her what the card means. I tell her the symbolism that I want on the card, and she'll sketch out 3 sketches of poses and things, and I get to pick which one I like, and then we put everything into it. So the cards they should talk to you. When you turn them over, you should get a message. You don't have to memorize a book. You'll see it. And that's what we're going for. And I told her from the get-go that I would like everyone to be able to find themselves in the cards, because so often tarot cards, a lot of times they're not very diverse, and a lot of times they're super fantasy oriented, which I love. I have many of those decks, but I want this one to be something people can grab and use every day, and I want them to connect with it, and Holly got that right away. So we have people of all shapes, all colors, all sizes, all ages. Everyone will be represented, just so that you can feel connected to your cards. You can feel like they know you and you know them, and that. So I just feel so blessed that Holly walked into my life. So I really think the universe wants the deck to be out there. We just need a few more backers.
Yay.
Well,
I do hope we get them. I think so.
Thank you. I hope so.
I posted the link for Lisa's Practical Tarot Kickstarter project on our Facebook page and our Twitter feed just now, so you can easily find it. I was going to just read out the link, and I can do that, but It's kickstarter.com/projects/Lisa Kessler/practical-tarot. So it's a mouthful. You can go to Kickstarter and search Practical Tarot and find it that way too.
Yeah, and it'll pop up.
One of the reasons that I'm mentioning how to find it is because, we talked about how beautiful the cards are, but you can go and take a look at the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that are on the page. When you just scroll down, you can see them, so you get an idea of how this is going to look. I mean, it's only 5 out of the 78 cards, but you sort of get a look, you get a glimpse, a little preview, and they're beautiful. I mean, Holly did amazing with these cards, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the whole thing. It is amazing. Just from sounding like it's a telethon. So hurry up now. Let's go to the tote board. No, when we started talking about Kickstarter, Lisa, you mentioned the different tiers and the things that people can get or extra perks that they can get. And I don't want to go through everything, and I don't want to holler out the dollar amounts because that'll make it really sound like a telethon. But just some of the levels, if you could, so people can get an idea of what they could be getting.
Well, it goes from the base one is a copy of the ebook of Practical Tarot, because it's going to come out in ebook and paperback. And if by some chance we get a big rush here in this final week, I'm hoping the book could come out in hardcover, so that would be cool. But for now, it's just going to be paperback. And then the tiers go up from the ebook to the paperback to the deck, to the deck, the paperback, and the ebook, and they just go up from there. And the higher levels, you also get my Practical Tarot video course, lifetime access to that. And then the highest ones can do the metaphysical mentorship with me also. So, but there are only very few of those. I think there's only 3 left of those. So if you're interested in that, you got to go quick. But anyway, so there's lots of things. Some of them you can get your name in the acknowledgments of the book, and some of the books are signed. So, you can look at all the levels and figure out, how much you would like to back the project and see all the cool things that you get.
And one of the things that I want to point out with these different tiers is one of the levels, and this is good because I know we have people who fit into this category. If you work at a metaphysical shop or manage one or even own one of the tiers is that you can get 10 decks with guidebook and ebook, so you'll have them for your store, which I think is a great idea. The other thing with getting 10 decks is also it makes terrific Christmas presents. But I know we're 2 months away from Christmas and Halloween is still to come. So I apologize to anybody who is really annoyed about that. But this runs through Monday, so that's Halloween. Right. Yes. And it's actually not going to be ready until the spring or just about spring, because it takes time to get it to the printer and get everything made and produced and shipped and all that stuff. So maybe thinking about it for Christmas gifts, unless you are one of those who are thinking about what you're going to get people as a Christmas gift for next Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really feel like I need to apologize.
They'll be done in the spring because Holly and I have to finish all of the cards. And this is some behind-the-scenes stuff for people. But when you have a publisher for tarot cards, they usually assign an artist. And so doing Kickstarter, I get to choose my artist. And the other thing is she and I agreed that she would make 5 cards for the Kickstarter, but I want her to be paid. So that's why we haven't made more of them for the whole deck, because I can't afford to do it myself. So if we get enough backers to do this, that way I can be sure that Holly gets paid for all her work. Because, again, my mom was a watercolorist, and I know They work so hard, and it takes so many hours and years of their lives to hone their craft. And I just hate that, a lot of their work gets stolen or they don't get paid. And so I just want to be sure that Holly gets paid. So that's why the decks won't be ready until March, because we will finish it up as soon as we know that there's money to get her paid.
Absolutely.
I know when I started learning tarot, I had a really tough time connecting with decks, finding something that worked. And the memorizing was tough. And I felt overwhelmed. 78 cards, got to learn 78 things. And it's not like there's a simple one-sentence thing in every book for this card means a piano is going to fall on you. There's not a card that.
Well, and then you add in spreads, and you add in bridging the cards together and figuring out, this card usually means this, but because I drew this card, this actually means, and so there's a lot more than just memorizing it. So that'll all be in the book also. But you really have to get where you're comfortable enough with the cards that you can let your intuition take the lead. And it does take work, but I'm hoping that the book will help people to, demystify it a little bit so that they can trust themselves and make tarot really, more part of every day.
And that's what I like the most about it, is that book, that she wrote the book like that. I love that. Yeah.
And there's also intention. Your intention can absolutely alter the, I hate to say the meaning of the card. The message can absolutely make a difference, because it's not, it doesn't always mean the same thing. It depends what it is you're searching for, what it is you're asking about. Makes a difference.
And I always tell people, if you don't have intention when you pull a tarot card, you get an answer, but you don't know a question. So if you draw without intention, it means nothing. Even though you've memorized what that card means, you don't know if that's about your personal life, your love life, your work, your home life, your family. You don't know, because you had no intention when you drew. So super important to have that intention.
I do want to zoom in on one particular card, and this is one that's on the Kickstarter page, so everybody can see this, because it's a very well-known card, the Death card.
Oh, I love our Death card that we made.
The Death card gets a bad rap from pop culture stuff. Any kind of hokey TV show that uses tarot as a gimmick, somebody pulls the Death card, and then they're waiting for a piano to drop on them or something. Yeah.
Yes. Well, when we were planning this Kickstarter, and I was talking to Holly, we were only going to do 5 cards, and it's really hard to pick. And so I didn't want them all to be major arcana. I wanted some of the minor arcana, to show up. But from the major arcana, I definitely wanted the Death card, just because, like Ken said, everybody makes the Death card scary and awful, but it's really not about a physical mortal death. It's about the closing of a chapter so you can open a new one. They named it that because the flowers die so that new flowers can come up. It's not a mortal death. It's a closing of a cycle and an opening of a new one. And our Death card, traditionally, Death cards will have, the Grim Reaper there with a body, but then her spirit will be flying up or something visual like that. But when we were making the card, it actually came from a TikTok video, but we were making this card, and Holly, I had given her, the different symbolism that should be on the card, and she hadn't made it yet. And I was playing on TikTok, and there was a filter for the AHA video of Take On Me. Remember where it was, they stepped into a black and white cartoon, and I was playing with it, and so I was half in color and I was half a black and white cartoon, and I thought, that is the Death card. all the color gets sucked out because you're closing that chapter and you're walking into Technicolor new. And so I emailed Holly right away and I said, I'm not an artist, so if this is going to look horrible, just ignore me, but this was an idea. And she said, I love that idea. Let me see what I can do with it. And the death card that we came up with is just, it's so gorgeous. And then extra symbolism that's in there, if you look behind the Grim Reaper, is a cypress tree, which is, the closing of a chapter. It's death, it's mourning, and then it gets more colorful as she walks toward the light. Her dress is purple again, which represents the divine, and then there's dandelions, which is a new beginning, and an oak tree for strength. And I just was like, oh, I'm so in love with this card. Because beautiful. Really that's what the death card is about, that you're just closing things up because this cycle is over and done and you're moving into a new one, and she's walking into a new day. And to me, that was just like, that was perfect. It was a beautiful death card.
It is.
The last thing that I want to get into here, or at least mention, is that Lisa made this video just a few days ago where she goes behind the scenes, or actually gives you a behind the scenes look at the creation of this deck. Not all the cards, but a lot of what goes into creating this. And we could talk for hours and hours on it, and so much more valuable when you can get to see it. So I wanted to share that so everybody who's interested can go take a look, or you can go take a look later, whenever is a good time for you. Is there anything about this that Lisa, that you think we should mention or that we've missed?
There is one thing. So the way Kickstarter works is that it's all or nothing. So if we get funded by Halloween night, there will be a Practical Tarot deck. But if we get to 8,999, they'll go, oh, well, and close it. Yeah, so it's all or nothing. No. So that's why I'm a little bit stressed. So if you are so moved and you are excited about this deck, you can help make it real, but you can only help make it real through Halloween night. After that, if we don't have enough steam, then the project is closed. So anyway, really hope you'll get involved this week.
And then this is the only money thing that I want to mention. When you go to this Kickstarter page for Lisa's project and you decide you want to back it, you don't pay a cent right now. You tell Kickstarter what you want to pay, and you only pay if enough people have backed it to where it passes that magic number. If that doesn't happen, you don't get charged a cent. So you don't have to worry that you're going to go there and you're going to back this for $10 or $1,000 or somewhere in between or whatever, and then Kickstarter is going to take that money from you and you'll get nothing, because that's not how it works. No. Kickstarter won't take a nickel from you until this closes and it's fully funded. So if you haven't done a Kickstarter before and you were wondering about that, I just wanted to mention that. So that's how that works. I think this is a really neat thing, and I think it could be helpful to lots of people. That's why I wanted you to come on and talk about it.
Thanks for listening. Remember, the Practical Tarot Kickstarter will end on Halloween night, so check the link in the show notes of this episode and take a look. I hope if you like it, you'll be part of it and back the project to make the Practical Tarot deck and book a reality. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast with Lisa Kessler. If you have questions or comments, or if you'd like to work with Lisa to manifest your dreams, you can connect with her through her website at metaphysicalmanifesting.net. That's also where you can claim your free weekly tarot reading and manifesting tips. Make sure you subscribe or follow the Metaphysical Manifesting Podcast on your favorite podcasting site so you never miss another episode. As Lisa likes to say, we can make magic when we bring the universe into the equation. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. If you'd like more information about Lisa, metaphysical manifestation mentorship, or the Manifesting Magic Mastermind, visit her website at metaphysicalmanifesting.net.